YouTube. Broadcast yourself. The birthplace of the many greats you know and love. Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, Mr. B... Wait, no, he's in some hot water right now, isn't he? Moist Critical. Wait, no, that's... Hold on. 1 second, guys, let me see. Shane Dawson? No. He's been out for a while, hasn't he? Miranda's... No. Actually, I don't know. I don't know how she even made it onto this list. Well, you know what, guys? Oh my gosh, I just scared the crap out of my dog. I'm so sorry, Nimbus. I'm sorry, baby. It's for the dramatic effect. It's for the dramatic effect. Well, dang, I guess there's the three. YouTube was great, wasn't it? When I think of the golden era of YouTube, I think 2016 to 2020. You had your vloggers, your skit channels, your gameplay commentaries, your commentaries. When YouTube drama was Jake Paul released another really cringy diss track on Rice Gum, or Will and E versus Morg's mom. That was one of my favorites. And now you can't even open YouTube without learning a new one of your faves has been exposed for being a nonce. Hopefully using the British term has gotten me around some sort of guideline. Everyone knows the British language isn't real. It's just become so depressing to be on this app anymore. Moist Critical just made a video about it a couple days ago as we're recording this video. Probably will have been 2 weeks by the time I actually publish it. Talking about how every time he streams, every time he does anything, it's just a new controversy, something else he avoided covering because he didn't want to get involved or pick a side, or every time he opens up YouTube, it's just someone new asking him to cover the last horrible thing that's happened that week.
I love posting and creating things, but I don't like interacting with the internet around me anymore. And it's something that I started to realize a couple months ago, and I've talked about it on stream a little bit, how because I've covered so many drama stories and everything, it's pretty much all that I ever get told about when I'm streaming, and it's become such a massive headache, and it's just constant negativity that I'm fully flooded with, at all hours.
Highly recommend you check that out if you haven't already. I'll leave a link up here. He talks about how YouTube went from being an escape from real life to real life being the escape from this obligation that he feels that he has now. And I feel like MatPat has talked about the exact same thing, and other YouTubers that have retired. I've actually been wanting to make this video for a while now, but Critical's video was the one that actually inspired me to get up and do it. So, shout out Moist Critical. I know he needs it. Support small channels. Now, look, I've seen other YouTube videos titled the exact same thing as this one probably is. What's wrong with YouTube? What happened to YouTube? Why YouTube sucks now? And it's all a bunch of people moaning about them getting rid of the dislikes and shorts and too many ads and all that. Which, I'm not saying isn't a problem. Do the execs at YouTube come off a little money hungry when they let one of their biggest creators get away with doxing one of their other biggest creators? Yeah, but I don't think that's the reason that being on YouTube is so depressing. It's not the site itself, it's the culture around the site and what it's morphed into. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a walk. A deep dive into the past so that I can show you why YouTube actually sucks now. Because I guarantee you it has less to do with the actual website than you might think it does. But in order to do that, I'm gonna need you to bear with me. We're gonna take a blast to the past, okay? Because if we're going to come to the conclusion on why YouTube sucks now, we're going to have to see what made it so great in the first place. April 23rd, 2005, me at the zoo. Groundbreaking video. First video ever uploaded onto YouTube. Simple enough, it's just a guy at the zoo. He says, hey, wanna hear a fun fact about elephants? They have trunks. Thanks for watching. And that was it. And obviously we can tell by the contents of this 17-second masterpiece that it wasn't actually meant to be a YouTube video. It was just meant to be a test. But I think that me at the zoo, 18 years ago, unintentionally it completely encapsulated what the essence of YouTube truly was. Before the essence of YouTube was. the shaky camera, the weird, uncertain, unsteady eye contact with the camera, the unnecessary mumbling about absolutely meaningless nonsense. It really was not only a moment in YouTube history, but I think it was the core moment in YouTube history. It's like Me at the Zoo is like the core memory in the little thingy in Inside Out. You get the metaphor, you know what I'm talking about. Unless you haven't seen the movie, in which case, go watch the movie. Yeah, shout out to Disney. I know they need it. Support small channel. But everyone knows about Me at the Zoo, right? Or at least everyone should know. Who knows, it's been 18 years, which is what, 230 BC in internet time? But I feel like the core of YouTube, the people and the essence that we think of when we think of the golden era of YouTube, didn't really start popping up until around 2009 to 2012. Out of that came Smosh, Fred, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, MatPat, Shane Dawson. And even though we know a lot more about those people now, at the time, they were everything that made the website what it was. YouTube wasn't some money-making machine. It wasn't a job. There was no intent. It wasn't about anything in the beginning. It was just people goofing around and just talking about things that don't matter. And I think one of the massive problems we have on YouTube today is that we only seem to talk about things because they matter. But that's not my point. We'll get back to that. So yeah, we have the YouTubers you know and love from your childhood. They start making gameplay commentaries. They make stupid vlogs and skits. You watch them, you laugh. It's a great time. But then, what's this? Advertisers are like, hey, people like to watch this. You know what else they'd love to watch? Capitalism. And thus YouTube crashed and burned, nothing mattered anymore, nobody cared, and everybody on the site was a power-hungry hooligan. The end. No, YouTube started to gain more traction, and creators started being able to make money off of the site, which at the time was great, right? It was something that they cared about, something they were passionate about, something other people loved. And it let those creators be able to do what they wanted to do, if not full-time just yet, because the advertisement revenue wasn't exactly great back then. The heart, the passion was still there, they still loved what they were doing, but overall the culture and the environment just started to change. And this is the point where YouTubers really started to give it their all. Now, I would say around 2014, 2015, and just a heads up, this video is completely based off of my recollection of YouTube, so don't hold this as a fact. But I'd say about 2014, 2015 is when we start getting the next generation of YouTubers. Commentary YouTubers, back when the makeup community started taking off. External media started recognizing YouTube as a valid thing and not something that was just cat videos and people falling on their faces. And this, in my opinion, was the last true era of anyone can be a YouTuber. Sure, anybody can still be a YouTuber, but I feel like 2014, 2015, 2016, that was the last era where wanting to be a YouTuber was the only reason to do it. Like, yeah, it could be a job, right? It could get you places, and it could get you recognized in the media. And some of that was a good thing, and some of it was not so much a good thing. Because YouTube was this magical place where you could film yourself talking in your living room, playing a video game, making fun of your friends, just anything you can think of. You could film, you could put it on the internet, and someone out there would go, hey, that's funny, or hey, I relate to that, or hey, you're really hot, take my money. And the natural ecosystem of YouTube just thrived. And then that era died. Now, I'm sure there was drama on the site before then, but it really feels like YouTube drama was a phrase that was kind of coined in that era, if that makes sense. But even then, YouTube drama was drama. It wasn't crime. It was, oh, Zuella's new advent calendar is really expensive. I don't know if she should be selling that to children. Or, Oh, JoJo Siwa accidentally sold makeup with asbestos in it. Long story. Had to be there. But then, one fateful day, we get Logan Paul enters the suicide forest, which from my recollection was the first true big YouTube controversy. Now look, don't get me wrong, the Paul brothers have always been super annoying. I know they've kind of toned down a little bit now, but I feel like this was the first actual event on YouTube to go to the media, to get people outside of YouTube's attention. A predator in the YouTube ecosystem had left the YouTube ecosystem. And was Logan Paul the first person to do something really, really stupid for attention on camera? No, of course not. Was he the first one to do something that stupid for attention on camera? Probably. And not only was this just bad for media attention as far as YouTube goes and the ad crisis and everything that was going on at the time, Logan Paul's content was aimed at children. Literal children. Children who, in almost every fandom on the platform at the time, had very parasocial relationships with their creators. I did originally have this video all scripted out, but I figured I'd film the rest of the video freestyle. You know what I mean? I figured if I'm going to talk about how good YouTube used to be, I might as well do it in the style of how we used to do YouTube in general. So as I said, Logan Paul, Suicide Forest, it was the first big news story to come out of YouTube, from my recollection. I didn't do any actual research on it. What do you take me for? And yeah, it was one incident. You know, people talked about it, news stations talked about it, YouTubers talked about it. But it was still a big deal for YouTube because it took what we had in this small space and it caught more attention than it was supposed to. Now, during this era, YouTube, even though it had caught more attention, it was still YouTube. It was still made up of people on the site doing what they love, doing what they wanted to. But the main point wasn't that there was controversy or that some people deserved it more than others, or that we had to constantly fight against the algorithm to get what we wanted to say to the people. Because YouTube was only people, for the most part. Obviously, we had different companies, like I'm pretty sure T-Series is a company. But at this point in the timeline, YouTube had delved into sort of different niches. In the beginning, it was more just vlogs and skits and stuff like that. But by this point, we had different communities. We had the commentary community, the gaming community, the reaction community. If you're reacting to this right now, hi, how you doing? I'm probably the one who asked you to react. And instead of this big hierarchy of which one topic was the main focus of the internet at the time, like it seems to be now with MrBeast and a bunch of other controversy that I don't even like calling controversy because at this point they're straight up crimes. Sure, there was a hierarchy within each niche, but you still had a place to go on the internet for anything that you were looking for. Now what it feels like with YouTube is that every single YouTuber, it doesn't matter what niche, has to address whatever big controversy is happening at the minute. Like I know Critical, as he said in his video that I referenced earlier, everyone was down his neck about the Ava Chris Tyson situation, and what she had done, and Dr. Disrespect, and everything. It's constantly, you should be doing this. YouTube went from do what you want to do, and we're gonna watch you if we find it interesting, to if you have a platform, you have a responsibility to cover this. And I don't completely disagree with that on like a singular level. I'm sure there are certain things, especially if it has to do with you. But the reason that these people are at the top in the first place is because they were doing what they loved. If you want to hear about whatever controversy is going on, go to a commentary channel that has already covered it. Your favorite YouTubers don't owe you an explanation for drama that has nothing to do with them. And another problem we have on YouTube is the amount of corporations that have taken over. I watched one video recently and it was talking about how YouTube has become the very thing that it was trying to destroy. which is TV. What is recommended to you is what makes the company more money, not what we actually want to see, not what you actually care about. YouTube doesn't empower individuals anymore in the way that it used to. And like I said earlier, there's a lot about YouTube that we have no control over, that we can't change, like the stupid search feature, or YouTube finding the need to push shorts to the top of your recommended every time you look for anything because it catches your attention because it makes them more money. We can't control that. But a lot of the problem that we have now with YouTube isn't just the site itself, it's the culture that we've let it develop into. Can we do anything about the major companies that have monopolies over the site now? Of course not. But what we can do is ignore all of the people and the YouTubers that are saying, oh, it's too late for us. The age of YouTubers is over. It's too late to actually get up and be a YouTuber. People tend to look at YouTube now with this corporate mindset, with this, I need to work to hire more people, to make my content better, to get better equipment. That's not what YouTube is. It might be what it feels like now, but you still have every ability to pick up a camera, say something stupid, film yourself walking walking your dog, right, and post it on the internet. No one can stop you. And I think if we stop looking at YouTube as corporate as a whole, we still have the ability to cultivate the culture into what we want it to be. If the first year that you make YouTube videos, they suck, whatever. That's how it was back when YouTube started. That's how the YouTube ecosystem worked. Have you guys ever went back and watched Markiplier's old videos? And I know that people haven't stopped doing YouTube altogether. I know right now it feels like YouTube is just made up of corporate entities and Mr. Beast clones. And that it's easier said than done to just stop giving them as much attention. But we as a mass, you as a person, as an individual, doing whatever it is you care about, inspired by whatever YouTuber inspired you 5 years ago when the YouTube ecosystem was still great. We still have the ability to cultivate the culture. Support other small YouTubers. Don't discourage yourself from picking up a camera just because the only thing you see on your homepage is nothing like what you saw 5 years ago that made you want to be a YouTuber in the first place. Because believe it or not, and as bad as it might seem, YouTube is nothing without its creators. So be the creator that you would want to see on the site. Be the creator that inspired you 6 years ago. And obviously don't be a carbon copy. Even though we have what's considered the golden era of YouTube, YouTube has always evolved. And this is what stopped me for a long time from doing YouTube, just being overwhelmed at the ecosystem, at the environment, at this corporate entity that YouTube has turned into. But I realized that I'm probably not the only person that feels that way. I've wanted to be a YouTuber since I was 13, and I've tried. I'm getting there. But I still feel awkward on camera, and that's gonna happen. YouTubers are falling out. MatPat retired. There's so much drama. Mr. Beast, Dr. Disrespect, Ava Chris Tyson, everyone is falling down. Everyone's getting exposed for some new controversy, some new crime. Let them fall. Stop paying attention. Don't fixate on it. Don't go and beg your favorite big creators to make videos on it. The goblet of YouTube is being passed to us. We are the next generation of YouTubers. We are going to be what the site is in 10 years from now. So get up, like me, put on a stupid suit jacket, and pretend to tie a tie, and turn your camera on and make something stupid. Make something that you wanted to make when you were 13 or 15 or however old you were, when you were inspired by the creators that were here. YouTube doesn't live and die with the creators that were here. YouTube lives and dies with the creators that decide not to create because of what they're looking at. And that's why I'm here. Hello everyone. My name's Max. Welcome to the Max Black Show. Ironic, isn't it, that I chose the Max Black Show as the name for my channel. Not corporate, just me, if you couldn't tell by the terrible quality that this video is probably going to end up in. I'm getting back into the content creation space, and you should too. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully it inspired you. If it did, I have other social medias. I stream on Twitch sometimes. So yeah, thank you for watching. Go turn on your camera and go make YouTube what inspired you to be a YouTuber in the first place.